We're the Talent Report. We're focused on bringing good news about great talent. Now, we were really interested to find out who are the most effective personalities on social media when it comes to radio talent. Instead of looking at every personality that's on the air right now, we focused on syndicated talent. What was interesting is initially, I thought that it would be the top 40 talent that killed it, that they were the ones that were the most engaged, they were the ones with the biggest footprints, and they were the ones with the biggest growth. But that actually wasn't the case. Our list consists of talent from the news talk world, from top 40, from urban AC, AC, country. We tried to be as inclusive as possible. So there's a variety of talent that made the list, and I want to share the insight with you because we were really surprised about the people who were the top 10. Now, 3 fields of criteria that we combined in order to ascertain which personalities were the most effective on social media, specifically Instagram. The first category is interaction rate. So think of interaction rate as engagement. Instead of just looking at who had the most likes or who had the most comments, we took the total interactions, that's likes and comments, and divided that by account followers in order to get an average of the interaction rate for each personality. The other category that we looked at was followers. We want to recognize people with large footprints, but we didn't want to solely focus on that because there's so much more that determines how engaging or how strong a following is based on how people interact. The other category that we looked at is growth. Now, we want to see talent that are growing and building their audience. So we took all 3 categories. We gave each personality a rank based on how they placed in engagement, account followers, and growth. Once we had the ranking for each category, we averaged them to come up with an average rank number. And based on the rank number, that determines who placed in the top 10. So, without further ado, here are the personalities who are the most effective on social media, specifically Instagram, when it comes to syndicated talent. Number 10 is Willie Moore Jr. Willie Moore Jr. is the host of the Willie Moore Jr. Show. It's an afternoon show, and it's also a gospel show. So it's really impressive to see that even though gospel isn't one of the biggest formats, that you have a talent who's actually extremely engaging, growing at a great rate, and has a great following. And that's Willie Moore Jr. Coming in at number 9 is Bobby Bones. Now, you may know him as the host of the Bobby Bones Show, or you may know him as the latest winner of Dancing with the Stars. But nevertheless, he's doing great and has a footprint of over 800,000 and an average interaction rate of 2.8. And he continues to grow with 1.78%. Dennis Miller is actually very interesting because he's one of the people who I was really surprised to see on this list. He's not 1834. He's not on a music formatted show. He's a talk talent, but nevertheless, he's doing extremely well on Instagram. While his footprint isn't as big, it's 36,000, he does have an average interaction rate of 5.1%, which means he's very engaging. His audience, his followers are really connecting with the content that he's putting out. And beyond that, he's growing at a rate of 6.47%. Coming in at number 7, conservative talent, talk talent, Dana Loesch. She came in at number 7, and her average interaction rate is 2.67. Her followers are pretty healthy at 305,000, and she continues to grow with 3.45%. Now, Zach Sang, totally not surprised to see him on this list, but his followers is 59,000. That actually surprised me. I thought it would be much higher because Instagram is a platform that so many people in his demographic love, but he's growing very impressively. His growth rate is 8.85%. And right now he has a follower, at least for the month of February, his followers were at 59,000, but his average interaction rate is really great, and it's 7%. How about that? Okay, and another non-surprise is Meta Gandhi. She is a co-host of the Elvis Duran and the Morning Show. She has followers of 132,000, and even though she's a newer member of the show, her growth rate is amazing with 4.86%. And another conservative personality, Sean Hannity, is actually doing really well on Instagram. Look at his growth rate. It's at 8.52%, and he has followers of over 400,000. People are engaged at 2.4%, not as much as some of the other talent, but the growth rate really helped propel him to be a very strong influencer and syndicated radio talent on Instagram. Sebastian Gorka, controversial but effective Instagrammer. He has 100,000 followers and another amazing growth rate, 9.26%. And his average interaction rate is really strong at 8.67%. So even though he may not have a huge footprint in comparison to some that are in the millions and high hundreds of thousands, his average interaction rate made him perform very well in our compilation. Another talent that I was really surprised to see, because I didn't know Stephen A. Smith was that active on Instagram, but clearly he is. But beyond that, check out his amazing footprint. He has 1.4 million followers on Instagram, and he's continuing to grow very aggressively with 5.7 growth for the month of February 2019. His average interaction rate is 3.58, and he's consistent because if you look at his numbers in January, that's pretty consistent to where he was before. And number one for the month of January and February is Ben Shapiro. Yes, he's conservative, but he's young and he's killing it on Instagram. He has 1.3 million followers. He's growing at a percentage rate of 6.04%, and his average interaction rate is very strong at 6.91. So what's exciting for me about this list is to see someone who's engaging, who has a huge footprint, and has great growth came out on top. So kudos to Ben Shapiro. Keep up the great work on Instagram. Congratulations to all of the talent who were recognized in our list. It's not about personality. It's not about preference. It's not about relationships. It's purely based on the numbers. If you need more information, please go to thetalent.report and just send us any questions, or if you need any further insight, just reach out to us.